Hey, what's going on there, guys? Welcome to the RBN channel. Hope everyone's having a good day. Today I'm going to talk to you about the top 5 recording mistakes, and these are mistakes that I've made as well as other people I've worked with. But first, be sure to watch the entire video, drop a like, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so you know right away when we come out with a new video. Also, check us out on SoundCloud, links will be in the description. A majority of everyone who writes and records music wants to have that professional radio quality recording, but just as important as it is to know what to do in the studio, it's just as important to know what not to do in the studio so you can learn from your mistakes. Number 1, write more music, use less tracks. Now, this might seem kind of odd, but just hear me out. We're no longer in the analog world, and you got DAWs out there that give you that convenient option of having an unlimited number of tracks. You can have 1,000 tracks if you want, but wanting to use all those tracks could eventually hurt you. Let's just take the guitar for example, because I used to do this all the time, but I'd have multiple guitar tracks specific for certain parts, and eventually you can't find the tracks you're looking for, and then you're scrolling up and down just to try, just to find a specific section. And I totally get why you'd want to do that, but I'd recommend having a guitar track and then having an extra overdub track, for if you make mistakes. So 2 tracks isn't going to be all that bad, guitar or bass, depending on what you're playing. Now, the drums are always going to have a lot of tracks, obviously, because you're recording all the drums separately, not counting the room and ambiance mics. But instruments like guitar, bass, vocals, maybe a piano or violin, you really just need 1 track as a main and an overdub track, so when you're done recording, you might want to consider erasing those before you start mixing. It's just going to make your life so much easier, you'll get frustrated a lot less, and if you're recording comfortably, you're going to have better sounding recordings. Number 2, make sure your instruments are tuned before every session. I can't stress this enough. Please tune your instruments. I know that this sounds like a no-brainer, but you would be surprised at how many people get lazy and think, oh well, it sounds close so it must be fine, because what's going to happen is you'll start recording with your guitar or your bass and you'll think it sounds good, but when you start recording other instruments that are in tune, it's going to sound completely off. And I know it's a small thing and you just got to go back and tune up and just record over, all over again. But the way I look at it is that's valuable time wasted when you could have been working on your project. Some of us have jobs, don't have all the time in the world, so studio time is precious. So make the most of it is what I'm trying to tell you. Number 3, make sure your studio is as quiet as possible, and this one is really tough because if you don't have options on where to record, like if you just got one room you could use, you'll hear rain, cars going by, just annoyances like people yelling in the street, stuff that you can't really help, like the laundry's going or something. A lot of us love using our cardioid pattern condenser microphones, but if certain noise is coming from one area, you can at least control that using a directional dynamic microphone, like an SM57 for instance. If you do only have a condenser microphone though, what you can do is use a noise gate to minimize sounds from, and please get any ticking clocks out of your studio and far away from your mics. My first few times recording, I actually underestimated just how much a condenser can pick up, and so try to keep your studio as quiet as possible. Number 4, now this tip is going to be a little bit controversial, but stop with the heavy compression, guys. I know some of you love to compress your tracks and you end up sucking the life out of your project. I'm way guilty of this. It is what it is. Compression is great for eliminating feedback, great for making your instrument sound a bit tame, but you want to watch how much compression you use. Now, I'm not against using compression and noise gates, but some people just go way too far. Overkill. Straight up overkill. Me personally, I don't use too much compression, just enough to where I don't feel like my tracks, especially the guitar or the kick drum, they don't sound like the life is getting squeezed out of it or so it doesn't sound like Kiss Is Hotter Than Hell album, for instance. As much as I love that album, just listen to it and you'll hear exactly what I mean. Too much squeeze is no good. Number 5, clean up the studio after each session. Now this tip isn't as big of a no-brainer as everyone thinks. I know what you're thinking. Well, Eric, who cares? How is cleaning up the studio going to help me make better music? Guess what? It will. And here's how. So, you're doing whatever and all of a sudden a riff or some idea comes in your head randomly, and that's how it always works too. It's always random. You want to get to that studio, you want to fire everything up, get on your guitar, get on your bass, whatever instrument you play, and all you're thinking about is putting that riff or idea down in your DAW. But wait a minute. your studio's kind of trashed up from your last session. Wires are scattered everywhere. You can't find a pick. There's, papers scattered on your desk. Nothing's organized. So now you got to spend time cleaning up and prepping so you can start writing. All right. So you clean up for 5-10 minutes, and you're ready to record. But guess what? You forgot. You forgot what you were going to do. The idea is just gone. You can't even remember what you wanted to record. And you know what? It happens. It happens more than people realize. So just stay prepared, because you really don't know when a jolt of creativity or inspiration could swing your way. So keep the recording studio clean, guys, after every session. Alright, so those are my 5 recording tips and mistakes you could avoid. So I'm going to close off this video. Maybe I'll do a part 2 of this video. Let me know in the comments section. As always, keep rocking, guys.